Record reflect that we have reconvened virtually with all members present. For those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
justice
for
for all.
liberty and justice for all.
That's hard to do in unison.
It is tough to do virtually. I want to take a moment to remember longtime Madison residents who we lost over the past few weeks. Carl Hess III, age 85, passed away on February 11th. Born in Elizabeth, grew up in Verona and lived in Madison for most of his life. After graduating from Verona High, he went on to get his undergraduate degree from University of North Texas and his master's from Montclair State University. Worked as a teacher in elementary school, phys ed teacher, and finally as guidance counselor for the Parsippany Troy Hills School District. Over the years, Carl's skill for soccer was acknowledged as such things co-captain of the 1957 state championship soccer team, and he was voted into the Verona High School Soccer Hall of Fame. He received many awards, including SCOA Man of the Year Award, the NJSCA Red Rice Award, NJSOA Hall of Fame Award, and SOANJ Man of the Year and Linesman of the Year Awards, and the NFIOA Official of the Year Award. To say soccer was a passion would be an understatement. And not only did he play soccer after college, he also officiated games for 30 years. And I did not know that part of Carl, so it was nice to learn that. He was married to the love of his life, Susan, for 57 years and is survived by his daughters, Jennifer and Carrie, and their respective spouses, as well as 2 grandchildren. He was an avid gardener, took pride in cultivating his garden, which abundantly produced enough for him to donate to Interfaith Food Pantry, as well as share with friends and neighbors. In his spare time, Carl loved traveling, especially to Hawaii, where one of his daughters lives, the Caribbean, and the Jersey Shore. He also volunteered time as a former manager and trustee of the Madison Community Pool for many years. And as many of us know, just a month ago, he was sitting at the very first meeting of the Madison Pool Advisory Committee, ready to share his wisdom and experience. And during the month of January, I would often see him in Hartley Dodge as he was roaming the hallways trying to track down Jim Burnett to share more thoughts about the pool operations. And I also remember him from his days at the Y, where he talked with his friends as much as he worked out. Above all, Carl was devoted to his family. He loved family above all else. We also remember Louise Simonelli, a longtime Madison resident, passed away on February 2nd, aged 87, survived by her son, Joseph, 3 daughters, Joanne, Alyssa, and Maria, and 1 granddaughter. She was predeceased by her husband, Frank, in 1992. She was born in Italy to the late Giovanni and Giovanna Sorciello, and as a young woman, Louise became a gifted seamstress. Louise and her mother, who was born in the United States, emigrated to Madison in 1954 when she was 15 years old, settling on North Street, where many members of the extended family had already lived. Louise met her husband, Frank, shortly after arriving in Madison. They married in 1957 and settled on North Street, where they raised her 4 children. She was a devoted member of St. Vincent Martyr Church since age 15. And also Josephine Fiorello, who passed away on February 1st at the age of 93, survived by 1 daughter, Michelle Goodwin, who was volunteer of the Madison Ambulance Corps, husband Bruce, who was a volunteer firefighter, and also 1 son, Michael, and his wife Linda, and 6 grandchildren, 1 expected great-granddaughter. She was also survived by a sister, many nieces and nephews, and many friends at Rexford Tucker Senior Apartments on Chateau Thierry. She was predeceased by her husband of 58 years, Sebastian Buddy Fiorello, in 2018, and she lost 2 brothers during World War II, and she also has lost 3 other brothers and sister. Born in 32, and was raised in Manhattan until the family moved to Bensonhurst when she was young. She worked as the mimic room at the James Corporation in Manhattan. And she and her husband Buddy were married and settled in Queens, where they raised their family. Seeking to be closer to her family and grandchildren, she and Buddy moved to Madison, where she lived for the past 20 years, building those special friendships, especially spending time with friends and family in the quiet hours spent solving puzzles, playing bingo at Chateau Theory and shuffleboard at Madison Elks Club. So let us take a moment to remember Carl Hess, Louise Simonelli, and Josephine Frisco, and let's pass our thoughts on to the family and friends that they leave behind. Thank you. And there is no minutes for, so welcome all. I want to thank Council President John Forte for covering the last meeting while I was out in Portland, Oregon for some quality granddaughter time. We appreciate it. And it should be noted that two meetings ago, I made the comment that we were digging out of the largest storm in about a decade. Well, that qualifier did not last too long, that's for sure. This one eclipsed that by quite a bit. And the timing and the intensity of the storm made for an extra challenge as the storm was ramping up while most of us were heading to a long winter's nap, but our DPW crew were heading to keeping our streets clear. And as I drove around this afternoon, I saw clear pavement on all the roads I saw. There is a lot more work to be done, and they will be heading out to widen the roads, clear the downtown, and reclaim spaces in our parking lots. The good news is the worst of the wind really did miss us, but our electric department linemen were ready had there been any outages. But to put this in perspective, JCP&L at peak reported 135,000 outages. Madison reported 0. And police, fire, and EMTs were all ready to respond to any needs. So thank you all for their dedication, and more to come in the wee hours over the next couple of days. And so here we are with yet another virtual meeting within the month. And bad news is the groundhog did see a shadow earlier this month, but rest assured, spring is on its way. And a couple other business things. We are ready to share a proposed concept for reconstructed Waverly Place. We have a stakeholder meeting scheduled, which will include downtown business owners and property owners. This will be followed by a open town hall meeting set for Monday, March 30th at 7 p.m. This will be a similar format to our last one, which we did for our housing and development town hall. We'll present the background and the proposed plan, followed by a question period from the public, and then overall public comment. The Borough Council will be in attendance, and there will be a discussion by the council, but no final decisions will be at the meeting. We'll just take all the input and go from there. And shifting gears from the library's foot traffic has been very good since reopening the main building in April of 2025. In January, there were over 7,000 visitors, which is about the same before construction. And during January, 62 Madison residents registered for library cards. And in January, and also they had over 19,000 total circulations and renewals during the month. So a busy time for the library. And as an agenda update, there was a referral from the planning board for the introduction of ordinance related to the redevelopment plan for Giralda 3. That ordinance, which was listed on the agenda, the number will be retired because it's still being worked on, and that'll come back for introduction at the March 9th meeting. And that's all I have. So let's go to reports from committee. Community Affairs, Council President Forte.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Downtown Development Commission, applications for the 2026 season of the Madison Farm and Artisan Market are have gone out, and new vendors can request the information by emailing Lisa Ellis at ddc.rosenet.org. From the Chamber of Commerce, Easter Fun Fest is scheduled for Saturday, March 28th. And from the Madison Community Arts Center, Every Tuesday from 1 to 4 p.m., seniors play Mahjong and Canasta. So for those interested, please stop by. Tonight, I hope it's still happening. They were having a Nature of Reading. The Nature of Reading was presenting how birding can change the world. That was at 7 tonight. Don't know if it was rescheduled. And then Wednesday of this week, Show Us Your Shorts, which is every fourth Wednesday at the Community Arts Center. Local film members submit and show their short films. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public safety, Mr. Landrigan.
Thank you, Mayor. From the police department, on February 19th, the Madison police officers met with Project Community Pride at the Madison Community House as part of their quarterly Bagels and Brainstorming meeting. Officers from Florham Park, Chatham Borough, and Chatham Township were also in attendance. The group discussed upcoming community events and planned presentations on e-bike safety, including an overview of the new law to be presented at the Madison Junior School. Today, February 23rd, the Madison patrol officers participated in Goal Zero enforcement campaign as part of a coordinated county-wide traffic safety initiative. The operation focused on proactive enforcement, targeting speeding, distracted driving, and other behaviors that contributed to serious vehicle safety crashes. The campaign emphasizes high visibility enforcement and public awareness. The police department will be conducting their firearms qualification refresher on 2 days this week, Tuesday and Thursday. They have already completed today's course. This is the first of 4 qualifications in 2026. The Madison Police Department is researching the development and potential use of an America 250 commemorative patch for display on patrol vehicles during 2026 in recognition of the nation's 250th anniversary. More on this to come. And I would just like to mention 2 shout outs, I'll say, to the police and fire department. During the storm, we had a medical call here at Rose Hall. They responded in less than 5 minutes. And then also there was a lockout for one of the tenants here, and they also responded to that in the middle of the storm. So shout out to them for their quick response during these hard times. Thank you, Mayor. That's it.
Thank you. And Finance Borough Clerk, Mr. Range.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, we'll have our 5th hearing on the budget as part of our budget review process. We have previously discussed capital, public works, the electric utility, and the water utility. At the last meeting, we had our first look at the municipal budget and a presentation from the fire department. Tonight, the council and the public will hear from other department heads. The police department, library, and engineering will be talking about their goals, objectives, and capital needs moving forward. On March 9th, which is our next council meeting, we'll have a presentation from the construction department. And on March 23rd, we'll have a budget hearing, a review of the financial strategic planning guidelines, and an introduction of the official state budget document. Later this evening, the council will be asked to approve the bill list, which is something we do every meeting. This one, however, includes over $9 million in payments for various vendors and entities. This is an unusually large bill list due to some significant payments. First is a $3.2 million payment to the county for the first quarter county tax, as well as the county open space assessment. This bill list also includes a payment to the Board of Education for over $5 million for their monthly share of property taxes. So that accounts for the unusually large bill payment tonight. And then lastly, from the tax collector this evening, a very short report. The tax quarter closed earlier this month, and delinquent notices have been sent for those delinquent taxes about 2 weeks ago. If you have questions concerning your tax bill, please contact the tax collector ASAP to resolve those outstanding issues. Thank you. That's all.
And just a quick update, since we are remote, that Russ Brown is able to join us tonight. So we have added building department back into the presentation tonight.
Thank you for correcting that, Mayor. Thank you.
I didn't want Russ to be thinking that we forgot about it. And let's go to Public Works and Engineering, Mr. Howard Plutus.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Hello, fellow council and members of the community. The DPW ended up having a much busier month than they had anticipated. Like the mayor said, we had our second massive storm of the season. The first crew came in a little after 5 p.m. yesterday on Sunday to begin salting the roads. You might have noticed the brine and salt around. And then additional manpower came in around 8 p.m. to begin plowing. The entire DPW, roads, parks, mechanical services, sewer and water, have been plowing pretty much since 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock last night. No, 8 o'clock, sorry. Multiple passes on the borough roads. The snow was coming down, like we all know, 2 to 3 inches an hour. We got anywhere from 15 to 18 inches around town. Along with plowing the roads, they've been clearing the borough-owned sidewalks, train station lot on Kings Road, Green Avenue lot, Waverly Green, Cook Avenue. Commuter lots are still in the process of being cleared right now. The crews are going to continue this week until all the roads and commuter lots are cleared. Tomorrow morning, Tuesday, they're going to continue clearing all the parking lots and more side roads. We're asking the residents and property owners to please clear their sidewalks now that the snow has stopped so that people can walk safely on the sidewalks and not in the street. Also, we ask property owners to, if they have a fire hydrant in front of their home, to please clear the fire hydrant so that the fire department can get quick access to it. And last, please do not throw, blow, or dump your snow into the roadway because it could cause a hazardous condition. In addition to that, there was a lot of winter events that the DPW has handled since the last meeting and a couple of sewer repair storm drains. Our town mechanics have been doing mechanical servicing on our maintenance vehicles, snow plows, salt spreaders, and the like. The parks crew has begun painting the bathrooms at all the recreation fields, starting with Dodge Field and the MRC. I actually saw the men's room at Dodge this past weekend. It looks like a brand new bathroom, and it now has a handicapped personal bathroom added to it. I think they did the same on the women's side. There was a water main break on the east side of town, and the DPW assisted in repairing that. For the community, to make note, curbside yard waste collection is scheduled to resume the week of March 2nd, which is next week. So I don't know what yard waste everybody's going to be picking up, but if you have a bag of something, I guess there's going to be a truck coming by to grab it. Very quick, Mayor, from the MEC, the event that John mentioned before. John, did you mention there was an event at the library or where is the event being held? They had a sold out event. How birding can change the world. It was supposed to be held tonight at 7 o'clock, but it's being rescheduled to the second Monday of March. They had 100 people signed up to hear local nature experts talk about how falling in love with birds creates a deeper connection to nature. The event is a partnership with the Nature of Reading Bookshop, inspired by Trish O'Kane's memoir, Birding to Change the World. Birds rescued this author from a deep depression after she lost her house in Hurricane Katrina. Later, the birds helped her save a park in Madison, Wisconsin, with an activism handbook reminiscent of that employed by Friends of the Drew Forest right here in Madison. There was guest speakers who will be rescheduled also. R.J. Curcio is an ecologist, Drew 17 grad Tedder Whitman, and the director of Coral Hartsman Arboreta in Short Hills, and Bridget Daly was going to be speaking. One of the topics was something the mayor's brought up many times about doing minimal fall cleanup, leaving seeds around and leaves, and birds will have more food to forage from in the winter months when there's snow ground cover. And quickly also from the Shade Tree Management Board, in consideration of the past 2 years of summer heat and drought, the Shade Tree Management Board is exploring ways to supplement the DPW watering of the newly planted street trees. Drew Professor Yan is the professor's name, has updated a study on Madison's tree canopy. It's a work that's continuing on, which was previously done by Drew Professor Lisa Jordan. Professor Yan's recent analysis indicates that Madison's current tree canopy covers 43.8% of Madison. It's indicating that over the years there has been a steady decrease in total tree canopy. So why we're not replacing the loss of mature canopy trees has to be studied. One idea is to offer the planting of new trees beyond the right of way on borough property, and it would be where the publics own their property, and we would plant a tree there that would be much smaller if it was planted along the street line. And after 2 years, it would be the homeowner's tree that they would own, not the town's tree along the street. And that's it, Mayor. One thing, Mayor, you didn't, and you didn't have to, but we didn't give a shout out to our local Devils hockey player, Jack Hughes, who helped win the gold. I don't know if all of us watched the men's hockey game or the women's hockey game. They were both amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, so proud of our athletes. And the speech that he gave at the end, he was not a speech, but he was interviewed. I don't know if anybody saw that. It was very moving.
Yep. Yeah, I was thinking of saying something, so thank you for mentioning
Yeah,
that.
sure.
But both
Yeah.
games great to watch and made us proud.
Yep.
And let's move on to utilities. Ms. Honahan.
Thank you. And I hope we have all of our teeth, unlike Jack.
Oh my gosh.
So, for utilities, thank you to Vincent Patty and his team for really preparing well for the storm. Over the last 2 weeks, the electric department has had a class on lockout tagout, which is control of hazardous energy, multiple standby calls for icicles hanging on power lines, and emergency markup outs. The electric responded to Green Village Road by Sunday Motor for a fire on top of a pole. A wire was on fire, and the electric department replaced that with no issues. And you may have noticed around 9:30, there was a JCP&L disturbance on the 18th of one of the 34K lines, and there was a flicker in everybody's lights, but there was no power outage from that event. And they continue to respond to calls, completing markouts, streetlight repairs, and daily substation inspections and readings. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And now health, Ms. Cohen.
Thank you, Mayor. As New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection is reporting an increase in migratory birds dying from suspected bird flu, the health department would like to remind residents how to properly dispose of a dead bird. If a dead bird is found on your property, you can use a shovel to pick it up and place it in a double bag trash bag that is securely tied. Be sure to wear disposable gloves and a mask. Never use your bare hands. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and wash your clothes in hot water. You can disinfect the ground or shovel using a cup of bleach mixed with 1 gallon of water. Bleach must have a contact time of 10 minutes to be effective. Hopefully we don't run into too many of those. The health department is hosting a consumer goods lead screening event this Thursday, the February 26th from 12 to 2 at the Summit Public Library, located at 75 Maple Street. The event is free and walk-ins are welcome. A new session of Project Healthy Bones will be starting on 2/24 tomorrow and will run for 24 weeks on Tuesdays from 10:30 to 12:30 at the Rexford Tucker Apartments. This program is for adults with or at risk of osteoporosis or osteopenia. To register, please contact Amy Lewis, health educator, at alewis@westfieldnj.gov or by phone at 908-789-4070. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Just want to add one other thing that didn't want to forget to mention. If anyone went through town late this morning, hopefully afternoon when the travel ban was lifted, you saw virtually every store closed, but one operation opened up, and that was Romanelli's. Dominic Romanelli opened up his restaurant primarily to make sure that our DPW, fire department, Police department and electric crews all had lunch after putting in so many hours. So thank you to Dominic for doing that. And move on to communications and petitions.
Yes, Mayor. Mayor and Council received several emails from resident Elaine Vitello of South Oak Court regarding the road conditions and overflow parking on South Oak Court. That's it.
Thank you. And now we go on to our first of two invitations for public comment. This is limited to items that are on our agenda discussion and also the resolutions that are part of the consent agenda. You want to comment on any other topic that will come up later in the meeting. The agenda discussion tonight, as you already heard, is a budget hearing for the police department, library, engineering, land use, and building code. And these are the resolutions that you can comment on. These will also be part of the consent agenda at the end of the meeting. Resolution 79 is Green Acres Enabling Resolution. This is to increase our Green Acres funding for the MRC purchase up to $6.57 million. This is an additional $1 million that will be coming from Green Acres to support that purchase. Resolution 80 is authorizing the purchase of 2 motorcycles for the police department. These are leased motorcycles. The leases are coming up, and we will be buying that out, and this is not to exceed $27,920. Resolution 81, appointing Connor Benway to the position of per diem public safety telecommunication officer at the rate of $22 an hour, $22.50 an hour. Resolution appointing Daniel Mello to the position of substitute crossing guard at the rate of $22.54 an hour. Resolution 83 is approving raffle licenses for Tori J. Sabatini PTO for April 10th. Resolution 84 is authorizing execution of contract for water utility consulting services with MJG Services. Resolution 85 authorizing use of Madison Recreation Center by the Environment Commission for Stewardship Days, April 10, 11, and 12. Resolution 86 confirming the membership of Timothy Grisales in the Madison Hose Department Company. And Resolution 87 approving temporary signs for the community pool membership registration. This will be starting February 24th through May 26th. Resolution 88 is authorizing special events permit for Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday events at James Park. This is March 29th and April 4th, and this is for activities by the Methodist Church. Resolution 89, accepting donation from Jan Fence for the police department, the amount of $3,500 for a Day to Shine community policing events. We thank Jan Fenson for doing that. Resolution 90 is awarding construction contract for Shady Lawn Drive improvements to DS Meyer Enterprises, the amount of $338,238.75. And this was funded through ordinances 6 of 2025 and 2 2026. Resolution 91 is awarding contract to Cephali & Sons in the amount of $419,101.50 for Dogwood, East Street, Harwood, and these are milling and overlay projects. And this was also funded through Ordinance 6, 2025 and 226. Resolution 92 is authorizing the purchase of utility department vehicle under the Morris County Co-op and not to exceed $69,293. And this is being funded through operations. Resolution 93 is awarding contract for the wayfinding and signage program to MS Signs in the amount of $135,530. And this is being funded through Ordinance 2025 and funds through the ARPA program. Resolution 94, ratifying appointment of Carter Rasmussen and Jack Bergdorf as part-time unpaid interns with Madison Borough Fire Department. Resolution all of a sudden I'm rolling into ordinances there. And we have one more resolution, which is resolution 95, awarding professional services contract for Leffler Pools Management of Greenbrook. And this is to manage the staffing operations and pool operations of the Madison Community Pool. So you may comment on any of those resolutions. If you wish to comment, indicate by hitting the raise hand option on the in Zoom. We will bring you up and we'll ask you to state your name and address and the resolution you're commenting on or the agenda item, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. And again, if you want to comment on other topics, that'll be coming up shortly. Anyone wishing to comment, please raise a virtual hand. Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting and we move on to agenda discussions. And it's our budget hearing. Pull up presentation. And Jim, you're going to tee it off and then we'll hand it off to the department heads.
Very short tee off here, Mayor. Councilman Range outlined the proposed hearing schedule. We'll hear from some department heads this evening, and then we'll be going back at the finance department to fully complete the state budget document, and then we'll have a presentation March 23rd. So without any further comment, and Mayor, you can drive the meeting from here if you want to and introduce the various department heads, first being Chief Misha.
Yep. Chief, welcome aboard. Thank you for coming out. And again, thank your staff for all the support through the storm.
Thank you, Mayor. And good evening, everyone. It definitely was a long day today. So I would like to thank the governing body and the Borough administration for allowing me to present tonight on the police department overview. Next slide, or first slide. Staffing. This slide depicts our departmental staffing. As always, as you can see, the uniform patrol division remains our largest within the agency. And you can see our different divisions that we have: patrol, investigative, traffic safety, community relations, and underneath just the total staffing that we have. Next slide. On the table of organization, again, this is shows the direct line of authority from the chief on down. If you look under each patrol squad, you'll see 1 sergeant, 4 officers, and a dispatcher assigned to each squad. We also have 1 officer who's just recently hired and is in the police academy, and he's slated to graduate on June 1, and he's on the bottom left, Recruit Ramos. We also staff a officer in charge on each squad, and they're with the asterisk next to it. And the OIC basically just acts as a supervisor and ensures supervision and continuity at no added cost, and that's in lieu of the sergeant not being on shift that night. And you also see our detective bureau and traffic and other units that we have. Next slide. Annual statistics. I know we have limited time, so I won't go over each and every one of them. The first one you see is calls for service, which is a number assigned to an officer to when they complete a task. Calls for service, we're up slightly, 6% in 2025. As you move down, you'll see some really proactive work by our officers. Motor vehicle stops up. Motor vehicle stops up 18% in 2025 in a 2-year span. They're up 61%. Traffic summonses increased 100% in 1 year, and 2-year span over 200%. Arrests were also up 70% in 2025 and a 34% increase over 2 years. As I've said in the past, in my past budget overviews, my vision, increased self-initiated activity, proactive policing, it just makes our town safer. And you'll see the results in the next couple slides. Next slide. On this slide, you will see, all the different crime reductions over several years. You'll see 2 major in the past 2 years, some of the major crimes that we're facing in our community, and really the Northeast, are drastically down in Madison since 2023. Motor vehicle thefts have gone down 85% in the 2-year span. Burglaries of motor vehicle, you can see, are down 55% over 2 years. Thefts are down 52%. Assaults, down from 19 to 14, 26%, which is really impressive. The one fraud you'll see, it looks like it jumped up drastically, and really the numbers look misleading from 24 to 25. Those frauds were result of arrests or incidents involving fraudulent temp tags found on vehicles. So, it's just a really good job by our officers, proactive, not reactive, and it's just driving, these numbers down, which you could see. Next slide. I wanted to zero in on the arrive numbers, which has been tremendous for our town and really the entire county. We began to track the arrive callouts in 2024. And for those of you here who do not know what Arrive is, it's the program which pairs a clinician with an officer for mental health calls. We had 90 calls in 2024, and 25, those calls almost doubled to an 88% increase to 169. One very important caveat of that is we had 0 use of force incidents concerning any of those Arrive dispatch calls. And if I remember my last year, my presentation, it was the same, 0 use of force calls concerning these Arrive calls. And also on this slide, you'll see overtime is down 50,000 from approximately 50,000 from 2024. We've hired, as heard tonight, we keep investing in our dispatch group that we have. We're hiring per diems to cover overtime, to cover vacancies on a desk, whether it be vacation or sick outs. And we have a recent officer, Officer LeGravinas, who just graduated from the academy, so he's assigned to a patrol squad and pushed into service. And lastly, on the bottom of this form, you'll see the ATTF, ALPR-related occurrences. The reduction of the hits over the past 2 years, it's actually 81% less, really reflects effective deterrence. Having fewer criminal vehicles operating in town relates to, a decrease in crime as well. Next slide. Department training, you'll see some of the training that we had that were some mandatory over last year. As you know, I'm dedicated to increased officer training. Some trainings on here include de-escalation, mental health response, crisis intervention. So I just wanted to thank the governing body, for the ability to send our officers year in and year out. Next slide. As you know, we maintain a strong community presence throughout town. You can see all the different community outreach that we have done in 2025. The list is actually getting bigger each year. And as a result, I believe that we have built such great relationships with our stakeholders and community members by, just interacting with them. And, you see the pictures on the bottom. Those were events over the last several years. Next slide. As you can see, we did a lot in 2025. I'll touch on a few. We expanded the Arrive mental health coverage with an additional social worker. And, as I stated, responses and follow-ups nearly doubled in 1 year, while improving early diversion and community safety. As you saw the numbers, we had increased proactive policing, which drove down crimes across multiple categories over a 2-year period. And we also strengthened the school safety by an additional fully funded resource officer funded by the Board of Ed. Next slide. Goals. Next one. Goals. Some goals to mention. We're preparing the department for future leadership and staffing needs through promotions, recruitment. We're attending so many different events, Law Enforcement Day and Men in Arena. We're doing something in the next, actually in March. and ongoing professional development. We're also in the process of department reaccreditation, which is huge. It's every 3 years, and we're on track to complete that this year. And continuing to invest in the ALPR program through our yearly projects. And next, those are our accounts that we pull from. Those are all the different accounts: operating, salary and wages, our vehicle account. Next one, please. So capital projects, each year we invest in, as you can see, we invest in bulletproof vests, which are needed. 5 years is the end of life. So we're on a constant rotation. And, we also have money that we pull from a grant that we apply every year. So I'm also committed to continuing our efforts on auto theft and other technology electronic upgrades, as you see. And, looking to the future, we just have a couple things on the list. Our in-car MDTs, body-worn cameras, in-car cameras are going to be coming up for discussion soon. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And, one of the things that I think a lot of people in the community know, we've been recently named one of the 10 safest towns in the state, but which is something obviously very good to be proud of. But I think one of the things that I haven't seen a community development rating, but I think we would be way up there too. And that's where safety and community development come hand in hand. When you have trust, you have community, you have safety. So thank you.
We're definitely totally invested in our community and strengthening those relationships, which I think we're doing a fantastic job. Really, really good job with that.
And Deb?
Just two quick things. First of all, thank you for the continued work on mental health, de-escalation, special needs, ARRIVE, autism, all of that. I think more communities need to follow our lead. So it's much appreciated. And then all my kids are now out of the house. Medication destruction, can we do that anytime, or is it only on specific days?
Now, anytime you can come in, obviously just come in, reach out, whatever. It's right in our front lobby. So we have the just throw it right in there.
No, it's all good. Thanks.
You got it.
Any other comments or questions from the council? Well, nope. John?
Yeah, so just a couple things. So Chief, I just wanted to congratulate you on some of the stats that you threw out there. And I think what's impressive to me is that your motor vehicle stops are up and they're up dramatically, but your use of force is down. So I just want to draw this correlation because I think it's important, right? Our department is interacting with the public on a one-to-one basis more than they were previously, but the use of force incidents are down. So that's a testament to sort of the training, the way you run the department, and the level of officers that we have in the Madison Police Department. I think it's good to point that out. The other thing that I would just point out that struck out to me a little bit was the ALPR hits. You had, I think, 100 in 2023, and you're down to about 20 now. And that's also while you've added to the ALPR system. So you could guess that maybe you should be getting more hits, but I think the word is out that this is probably not the best place to be coming to if you want to do something nefarious and come in with a stolen car to steal another car in the middle of the night sort of thing. So the numbers are dropping. And I just think that that's just something else that I wanted to point out, because I'm not sure everybody that's watching this tonight might pick up on that. And it's important.
Yeah, it definitely it goes with our the omnipresence of our officers, right? They're whether they're interacting with so many different people on throughout day shift, night shift, they're very visible. So yeah, I wouldn't want to come in town either if I'm looking to do something bad. We're here, we're all around, and and on the first thing that you had mentioned. the use of force, we're dealing with a lot more people, but we're also there's so much more training, how to talk to people, the de-escalation, and just treating people, like we want to be treated, so, a lot of things can be done through words. And yeah, the numbers don't lie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to Tom and then Eric.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for being here, Chief, and for that comprehensive presentation. John already mentioned a lot of the things that I was going to comment on, so thanks, John. We don't want to waste too much time saying the same thing twice, but you're right, spot on. Another compliment I was going to give you. I don't know how many people in the community know about the every 15 minutes. Um, it's not called a presentation. It's an enactment around the high school about driving while under the influence, and it's a full-blown, uh, model. What do you call it, Chief? What would you say it is? It's a
I mean, it's really, as you
I
said,
think
basically a reenactment. It's,
yeah, of a drunk driver
drunk driving,
causing a
fatality.
tragic accident, and then how it affects the families. You recruited people from the community, from the school district, parents and students to participate. It's a great little short video or a show if anybody ever wants to show it even to the younger.
It's on YouTube.
It's on. Yeah, I know I saw
Yep.
it. It's available on
Mhm.
YouTube. Very touching. So, and it was a lot of work and money to put it together. I don't know how
Yes.
much money
Yeah,
you
we have a
raised, but it
Yeah,
was
we
a
have a
lot.
group, Sergeant Glab, our SROs, they do a fantastic job. They have a professional, film crew basically, and makeup crew that come in, and they really do a good job. It really hits home. We do a mock trial, and death notifications. It's really, it really hits home. We do it every other year. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's sad that it's a
next year.
reality that we have to
Yeah.
deal with too.
Yeah,
But I think adults and children and students learn from it.
no doubt.
Everything else is great. Thanks, Chief. Keep us
Thank you.
safe.
Thank you.
And Eric.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Chief, for reminding us of all the great work that you and the department do. Since it came up a couple of times in the presentation and in some of John's comments, it may be worth, just for the public's benefit, of explaining what ALPR stands for. And then for those that do know what an ALPR is, I know recently, especially with the Super Bowl ad with Ring cameras and our friend Milo, the lost dog, there's been some concern about kind of surveilling and is our system connected to Flock? And there's a lot of consternation about Flock and that company. And just so talk a little bit about the safeguards that we have, and that we're obviously not associated with Flock.
No.
And what things that the public may want to know around our
Yeah.
systems and the
Yeah.
protections.
Yep. Yeah. The ALPRs are automated license plate recognition cameras, ALPR, and they're basically set. They have different settings. One obviously our setting is hits on stolen vehicle, stolen license plate. It doesn't hit on those are really the main flags. So what we found through just historically, when our numbers were really high with motor vehicle thefts and burglaries and just criminal activity, and really it ended up being a whole countywide project and moving statewide. And but we were definitely one of the pilot programs here with the ALPRs. But we found that most of the vehicles that were, if not all, that were coming to town to engage in criminal activity were either operating a stolen vehicle or coming in to steal one car and dropping the stolen car. So that was one of the alerts, and we have a whole. I'm not going to go into it, but we have a whole process to how we deal with that when they do come through town. As far as the data that Isris, that we see, and that is, it's highly regulated. It's held up at the Department of Public Safety up at the county. We have audits, so we're not associated with Ring or the Flock and all the other stuff. This is law enforcement material and equipment, and only for law enforcement here.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Now, if no other questions or comments, we'll move on to the next presentation. And Russ Brown, Construction
Thank you.
Department.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. We can go to the first slide. This is really the 2025 accomplishments of the department, right? The first two numbers are the permit revenues. The 834,000 is what is realized by Madison. Another nearly 59,000 is distributed to the state. That's their portion of the permit. Value of construction, that's always a little bit skewed. No one ever puts their actual cost or their actual value of because it relates to their permit. The other two numbers are just various fees that is passed through the department. Some of the administrative staff collects COA fees. There's also water, sewer, and now electric fees that are collected and moved on. Last year, we did a little over 7,000 inspections, 1,000 certificates, and 1,800 permits. I'd like to just kind of highlight that for a second and give a little shout out to the administrative staff. I mean, I wish I could convey how much work goes into issuing a permit, verifying the various prior approvals, and on the back end that everything has been completed. Another 500 OPA requests. We have one person that does this. Now, this is shared between Madison and Chatham, but it's a monumental task. And I'd just like to note that we did this while we moved the entire office. We relocated this year. So there was a big thanks to DPW, certainly Louis Amarato and Michael Palesia. I don't think we could have pulled it off without him. We did it all in-house. There was no interruption in service. And it just went very, very well. So thanks to everybody for that. If we could change slides. This is just a continuation of the accomplishments. It's various projects that were done last year. One that caught my eye was 22 new single family and two family. That's 22 new houses between Madison and Chatham. It just seems, there's so much going on in town. We had a couple of larger buildings. We did a major apartment building in Chatham, 246 Main Street, and a couple fit outs on the right side of the slide there. A couple of the bigger ones were the VCA Animal Hospital. If anybody has seen that, it's a beautiful fit out, but very large. And Riker Danzig was another large one up at Geralda Farms. We could hit the next slide. Some of the things that were projects that are going to be completed this year that we're kicking off. Madeline Housing is another apartment building that'll be going in Chatham. 30 Central is underway. I'm sure everyone has seen that. HDM will be an exciting one to see. And there's just some of the other stuff that's going on that we're looking forward to. We could hit the next one. These are the standard our budget comments. Our permit fees offset our budget. And we allocated money for the state mandated electronic plan review. I think AJ and the IT department has come up with a solution for that we'll be moving forward with. I hopefully, when I get back to work, would be great. And that about sums up 2025 for the building department of Madison.
Thank you, Russ. Obviously, another busy year, and to reinforce the incredible the fact that everything kept on running smoothly despite having to move from one building to another, and that is incredible. So, job well done.
It's a great
Tom?
group of people.
That was a record, Russ. Couldn't be any faster than that, but thorough. Thank you very much. Once I take the time to read through everything, there's a lot of A lot of detail there, a lot of accomplishments. So you touched briefly on the construction at the Board of Ed, but was there a lot of projects that they completed in 2005?
There was a fair amount, and again, I haven't been to work in 2 weeks. I've had
Oh, okay, sorry.
some surgery going on, so I didn't. Amy Greeley pulled this together on her own. One of the lines I like to include is the fees that are waived. There's
Oh,
there's a fair amount that there's still the work still goes on, but the revenue isn't realized. So yeah, there was a bunch of work done at the high school, quite a bit. Some interior offices, some rooftop HVAC units. Bathrooms were done at the junior school, as well as Torrey J. So we're under construction on Kings Road as well, in addition on Central Avenue. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
yeah, that's a lot to expect.
Certainly is.
Yes, sir. So with regards to the permit revenues, they were like 830,000. Is that, I mean, they could change so much every year, I guess, depending on the size of projects. So
Absolutely, yeah. It depends on, but we run right around there.
right around $1 million,
Yep.
somewhere around there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And what do we have coming up this year? Anything big?
Well, we have, like I said, we've got the apartments going over in Chatham.
Oh,
Yeah, what else do we have on here?
the mosque doesn't pay fees.
No, the mosque paid fees,
Oh,
but
they
that
do pay.
was, last year is when the permits were issued, but we're looking to complete it this year.
Mhm.
Madison Golf Club, that'll be pretty significant. Again, with Madison schools, doesn't help with the revenue.
Yeah.
The solar panel project on Walnut Street, again, another waived.
And of course, Harley Dodge. They get
And
a, they
Harley
get a
Dodge,
break.
another waived,
Right. That's
so
a big one.
yeah.
Okay. Hey, you have a lot on your plate, Russ. Thank you very much. Hope you're feeling better.
Absolutely, I'm great, thank you.
Okay.
Right. Any other comments or questions? And Russ, thank you for carving out time. And again, reinforce what Tom just said. To best on your recovery. And thank you for joining us tonight.
I appreciate you letting me present from home. You guys have a great night.
Pleasure. We're getting spoiled. We'll go to the library. We got Lynn Favreau, the director. I know we have a couple of board of trustees also logged in here. Lynn?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for letting us address you tonight. I wanted to start by saying that at our January 15th board meeting, the Library Board of Trustees approved a new slate of executive board members. Our new board president is David Luber, and our new treasurer is Joseph Riopel, both of whom will be joining me tonight to present. And while our longtime board president, Thomas Bintinger, has stepped down from an executive position, he will continue to serve as a member of the library board. And I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge Tom's enormous contribution to the Madison Library over the years, and to say what a pleasure it's been to work with him as our board president. And we're all looking forward to our new ongoing relationship. So next slide, please. Okay. So we began construction back in November of 2023, and our primary goal in 2025 was to complete the project and reopen the main library building to the public. We were very proud to open the doors on April 31st, and we hosted an official reopening celebration on June 1st. In addition to the many improvements to the building itself, we replaced most of the furniture with more flexible, modern options, made some landscaping improvements, and created a new children's patio. And once our Chase Auditorium was no longer in use as a temporary library, and with funding from the Friends of the Library, we were able to replace its outdated audiovisual technology, which has significantly improved the quality of program presentations for audiences and presenters. And finally, we began the process of developing a new strategic plan by analyzing our old one and assessing the impact of our new spaces on patron needs and behaviors. Next slide, please. We separate our circulation statistics, as you can see, into the non-digital items, physical things that people check out, and digital items, elements that are checked out electronically, like ebooks and e-audiobooks and so on. And we do this because the two categories behave quite differently. We can see here that certain trends are holding true, even with the reduced collections we had during construction. While physical materials continue to be a very important part of library offerings, electronic materials are gaining rapidly in popularity. This isn't just a local trend, it's a global one, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Programs represent another important part of our offerings, and our staff worked very hard to keep programming going during our construction project, either virtually or in person at local offsite locations. We also worked very hard to broaden our outreach to local schools, colleges, and senior residences. Our return to the main building brought programming back home, and our summer reading program had one of the highest levels of participation in many years. And finally, we registered many new patrons in 2025, and we were able to finally fill several part-time staffing positions that had remained vacant during construction. Next slide, please. In 2026, we have several broad goals. We will develop and complete a new strategic plan with a focus on both library services and continued physical improvements to the campus. In technology, we'll upgrade our security capabilities and assess our long-range plans for scalability and future needs. We've already scheduled several events for the New Jersey 250th celebrations, and will continue to partner with local organizations to observe this important anniversary throughout the year. Finally, we plan a thorough cyclical review of our personnel manual to ensure that it remains in compliance and continues to support our staff. And now our board treasurer, Joseph Riopel, will discuss our 2026 budget. I know he's on here. There he is.
On mute.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. As we began preparing this budget, we were mindful of the overall financial position of the library. The first item of importance was the $250,000 increase in the third of a mill statutory appropriation. We then looked carefully at several expenditure areas and needed to ensure that we adequately provided for those in the budget, while being mindful that we need to rebuild our reserve for capital improvements after the recent renovation. Specifically, there are substantial increases in several key areas, including statutory benefits, JIF costs, operating expenses and maintenance, insurance, utilities, and other professional services. We also made the necessary staffing modifications to bring us to the needed level for full operating hours. Next slide, please. In our personal services category, we plan for the following increases. For the statutory benefits component, an increase of approximately 13% in PERS and Social Security expenses, and an increase of approximately 25% in health dental insurance costs. For JIF, we anticipate a cost increase. We also see projected increases in several key operating expense areas, including a 24% in buildings and grounds maintenance, a 13% increase in utilities, and a prudent increase in funding legal and accounting services. We're also responding to the increasing demand by our patrons of digital media by increasing funding for that growing element of our collection. Next slide, please. We are fortunate to have additional resources of a healthy endowment and active friends group to supplement the borough's financial support. We have budgeted a combined 15% increase in funding from these two sources to assist in providing the high level of service that our community has come to expect from the Madison Public Library. And now our board president, David Luber, will discuss the recent library construction project and our future capital plans.
This time last year, almost 2 months to the day before we reopened, we had estimated that the final cost of the project would come in at $3.921 million. The actual final cost came in $5,722 higher. Of the 3.9 million plus spent, $913,974 was funded by the 2017 state library bond issue, and $456,987 was funded by the borough, for which we thank you. The remaining $2,555,761 came out of the library's capital funds, which is why Joe noted that we now need to rebuild our capital reserve. If you've not visited the library since we reopened, and I'm speaking to the public as well as to the council, please do. I think you will agree that the upgrade was worth the money we collectively spent. Next slide, please. It's kind of blank, but the 200,000 for 2028 is really just a placeholder. We know that we need to upgrade the courtyard and fountain, but exactly what that means and whether we will need your help from the borough, and if so, how much, will be addressed as part of our strategic planning effort. Are there any questions for any of us?
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Joe and Lynn. Just to reinforce Lynn's comments that, Tom, thank you so much for your many years of being president. I think you've been president of the Board of Trustees my whole time as mayor, and people know that's a long time. So thank you for your dedication. And it should not be forgotten that you just started a new term, so your dedication continues. A lot of great things are going on at the library, and so this was a very thorough presentation. I think just one quick clarification thing. I don't know if there's anyone mentioned what JIF is. Most of the people in the public may not know. It is the Joint Insurance Fund, so that's what that covers. With that, Bob Landergan.
Okay, this isn't so much a question, it's just a comment about the way the library operates now. I was in there recently with a friend from another town, and he needed to do some work. We needed to get on the internet and it needed to be in private. The study rooms or private rooms that you have there to work in are phenomenal. I could see the improvements that were made in the furniture and the layout of the library. It's truly an amazing place. He and I were both very impressed, especially him, because his town didn't have a library such as this. So I just want to thank you for all the work that was done in that library and to keep up that good service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from Tom?
So, Lynn, thank you very much. A thorough presentation. You're always just so organized. You and your tireless volunteers. It's not an easy building to run, and that construction project took a lot of effort. I remember when I was one of your trustees for however long it was, and Mayor Bob was there. It's just constantly going over the projects and budgeting and making sure that everything was done right. And it's a great building. I hope a lot of the community will actually somehow be made more aware of what's there, and they can go and appreciate it and use it. And if I recall correctly, the library, maybe next to the YMCA, I don't know the comparison, is the most frequently visited public building in the town. Does that sound right, Lynn?
It does. It does.
Still, okay. So there's obviously great asset to the community. And you changed the model of the library. It's not just a place to go and take out books and use a computer now. The services that are available to the community are phenomenal. It's not enough time tonight to go over it, but hopefully you can get some press and get a message out to the community so they start to use it more. And it's a great addition. And you did it right around budget. You didn't go too crazy. I know that the borough helped, which is great. That's our obligation. It's a public building. So thanks again to you, to Dave, Tom Bittinger, like Mayor Bob said, has just been a great board president for such a long time. Hopefully he's going to stay around and help you too. And nice to see you, Joe. I don't know if we ever personally met, but thanks. It's a lot to organize.
Thanks, Tom.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions from the council? All right, thank you. Great presentation. And We'll wrap up next engineering and land use services.
Thank
We got
you.
James Dennis.
All right, good evening. James Savage, and I'm joined with Dennis Harrington, the borough engineer. Dennis is our assistant borough engineer and planning board engineer and zoning officer. And also Bonnie's in our staff, and we're in a little bit of transition. We had a gentleman for 24 years retire. He was our deputy zoning officer and technician. And recently one of our capital project managers moved on. We're going to miss Ryan, and there's an opening in our department for an assistant engineer as we rebuild our staff. The team did great last year. One of the biggest projects that they helped coordinate was the MRC solar carport. I'd like, Dennis, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
Hey, Jim.
Dennis, I'd
Good
like you
evening, Mayor
take
and
the,
Council.
I'd like you take the lead on the DOT projects.
Certainly. The borough was successful in securing grants for 4 roadways, which have been bid recently, and I think the award is on tonight, Mayor, or was awarded for Shady Lawn Drive, and then Mill and Overlay, which is a reconstruction because there's some drainage work and curbing, et cetera, on Shady Lawn. And Mill and Overlay of Harwood, Dogwood, and East Street, which was awarded, and both those projects came in under the engineer's estimate. So we're in a good financial stead with the awarded money from the DOT. We also were awarded a grant for the Mill and Overlay of Spring Garden, Ashland, and Toth Place, if I pronounce it right. We have also, of course, done the road striping and sealing improvements that we do annually through the Morris County Co-op. And that work was completed last year, and we are planning on additional striping and crack sealing through the co-op again in 2026 in the amounts that you see there.
Yep. Moving along, we had a tremendous project where we cleared 30-inch main blockage right at the end of our line, which resulted in a significant reduction in our reduced flow readings and what the borough pays to the joint meeting. So that was a tremendous savings that we identified an issue, and we will be actively monitoring that as that goes on. And working with the police chief, Misha presented earlier, and Captain Longo and Patrolman Duraco, we have been meeting with them weekly, if not every 2 weeks, on some substantial projects. So one is an improvement to the pedestrian crossing at Green Village Road and Wilmer. Morris County is just about to award a improvement to one of the oldest traffic signals in Morris County, and that's the Woodland and Green Village Road intersection with better improvements to Glen Wild. So we're really excited about that getting designed this year. And then working with the police team, we're working with consultants to improve the signalization at 6 intersections and evaluating the need for a traffic redevelopment at the Giralda Farms Madison Ave intersection. All the while working with Complete Streets, and there's a ton of other initiatives that the department and the police and that committee are working on. Next slide.
Just on that, Jim, real quickly, on the Complete Streets, we need to reestablish our schedule for those meetings, and several projects have been identified, and we will continue to look at funding opportunities through the Department of Transportation for pedestrian safety focused projects, crosswalks, sidewalks, and intersection improvements.
Thanks, Dennis. Dennis, why don't you talk on the trail, since you've been actively managing those as well?
Yeah, thanks, Jim. The Memorial Park Trail Phase 3 was bid and awarded last year. We've had a bit of a tough time getting it going because of the significant snowfall and the deep freeze that we had in January, but we expect that to be completed in the late spring of 2026. Summerhill Park Trail, we received a grant from the county as well for the design of that project to a local landscape architect, Square Acre Studio. And that was part of a overall, I think it was a 5-park evaluation that Square Acre had done for the borough last year to identify some improvements to 5 of the parks in the borough. Summerhill Park was one of them, and that was the one we chose for the grant design application, which we were awarded and kicked that off just a couple of weeks ago. The Dodge Field Playground, that project was completed last year, not in 2025, but there were some hurdles that we had to get over in order to receive the grant money from the Green Acres program, which was exceeded, I think it was $525,000. And I want to mention and call out Russ Brown in the building department and Chris McDougall from the Public Works Department. There was some creative work that was done, and I believe Councilman Harold Lamputis mentioned the bathrooms, and they were upgraded to a family-friendly configuration, which was a requirement to receive the grant money. And they used their creativity and local and our own forces completed the work, which could have been a real sticking point because when that field house and those bathrooms were built, and it wasn't that long ago, about 4 years ago. It didn't include that family-friendly restroom because it wasn't a requirement, but for a fully inclusive playground, you must have that. And they put their heads together. They came up with a solution, which was practical, and it was a very collaborative and a great service to the borough and savings, and that enabled us to get the $525,000 from the Green Acres program.
Thank you, Dennis. Moving into water system projects, Welby was reconstructed. Very large effort to get that building up to speed. And the other thing was they did this incredible carbon dioxide treatment, which almost doubled our ability to pump water out of our aquifers into the Madison water system. We're also planning a tremendous effort based on the PFAS, forever chemicals removal of our drinking water. It would result in a large master plan and a pilot study on how to do that in the borough. So that's planned for this year, and also the long-term maintenance or replacements down the line, depending on the analysis on the water tanks. So we're taking a hard look there. MS4 stormwater compliance, we've always had to do this. However, the DEP has much more involved requirements. So we accomplished a heavy lift on our watershed inventory and GIS mapping. And this year we're planning on an analysis of our up-to-date stormwater management system and working on improving it, which would be due to the DEP at the end of next year. And Dennis, if you want to touch briefly on the land use area.
Yeah, you see the numbers on the slide of the zoning permit applications, which that 697 is pretty much a standard over the last 5 years that I've been involved with them. Number of zoning permit applications that we field every year, and considering that's in 240 working days, that's about 3 zoning applications per day that come in. The planning board applications, there were several minor subdivisions, and I think Russ Brown mentioned some of the construction projects in town, and in fact we've had several, quite a bit of new homes built. These were mostly minor subdivisions, 1 lot into 2, but also in the planning board applications we had the Geralda 1 redevelopment from the commercial use, office use to residential. And then we had, of course, we had the Dunkin' Donuts application. They're going to be installing a drive-through for convenience, similar to what we had with the Starbucks application in the Heller parking lot, the Staples parking lot. Zoning board applications, typically those are residential. We had a couple of infill applications. Downtown, we have the HQM project for affordable housing on Central Ave. And then we had the tree applications, tree removal applications, which are processed through the zoning department as well. And in our planning and zoning work, we provide support and assistance to the borough and to the borough planners for the Girolda Farms redevelopment, as well as the Drew Forest and potential development on the Drew campus as well.
Next slide. So just want to highlight very quickly a couple photos of the heavy lift of managing and making sure that the borough received a quality project with the large investment into the MRC solar carport last year. Next slide shows a schematic of the parking lot. You can see right off the MRC rec complex how large that solar array is, and there's an underside shot. They're bifacial, so they can get energy from the top and bottom. It's a great project for the borough. Next slide.
In conjunction with that, Jim, we also milled and repaved that parking lot, which was in need of it anyway, but with the installation of the solar carport, the time was right to do that project. And that was done through the co-op.
Yep. So we talked about the Dodge Field project, and that's the record drawing, the final as-built that we did. There's a project to improve the grandstands at Madison Little League, and Dennis shared with you the Memorial Park Trail, which we largely fund through grants, and that's going to show right there off Memorial Park, the new trail when it's completed. Next slide. So looking ahead, these are the large overarching department goals, but we maintain the assets of the borough, predominantly all of our infrastructure, but buildings as well, as part of strategic planning and identifying like when to invest our dollars at the right time. So that's a heavy lift that we do constantly, and we work with our council liaisons on that and other committees as well. Public construction projects like planning, bidding, and awarding road construction or anything we do on our infrastructure is something that the department is constantly monitoring. Third party and private construction, largely done through Dennis's work on the planning, but overseeing any sort of commercial site improvements, communications equipment on our water tanks, etc. The department handles that. Complete and green streets we touched on earlier, but this is a large way to potentially get large state funding to make our borough safer and better for cars and pedestrians. Utility development, we shared about some of the challenges or some of the headwinds coming for water, but also monitoring and improving our electric infrastructure, making sure that we can take what's been working very well for the borough for a very long time and continually improving it. The solar generation facility is one of them that helps offset our costs for borough owned buildings. Land use boards and municipal land use, very involved behind the scenes, and Dennis takes much of that workload, coordinating with all the public board members and municipal professionals to make sure that Madison stays or improves the way we all want it to do through that comprehensive process. And the zoning ordinances, we're always looking for ways to make things better and more efficient for our residents. So we look at our code constantly to find ways to make that better. Next slide, please. Environmental implementation. We work frequently with the Climate Action Committee, Sustainable Madison Advisory Committee, and Madison Environmental Commission. So I just want to highlight that the department takes that committee partnership very seriously, and we like to work with them and collaborate as best we can on their efforts. Elmer Street is a parking lot that we are evaluating proposals as we speak to improve that section of town after a successful Cook Ave project in years prior. Rosedale Soccer Field needs new grass or a better turf surface, so that's right on our top of our list in the department of bidding and trying to get done this year to make that a better recreation facility for the borough. Hartley Dodge takes up a good amount of our time because it's a very large investment in the boroughs. And so we work with a lot of other professionals constantly on that renovation work. Waverly Place, Mayor talked about that earlier. We are working and helping the team on evaluating those schematics. And then a lot of grant applications across the board. I won't go through each one, but a lot of them touch engineering and ways that we can offset capital investments with these grant dollars that are available. And the one that's really important we're trying to get is for our sewer maintenance and lining in low and moderate income sections of town, which would be right off Main Street to the north, right by Dodge Field. We're hoping to reline about 2,000 feet this year through a successful grant application. Lastly, this is just a highlight of a lot of the projects we talked about and shared today. Nothing new on this slide. And this is the things that engineering is going to be focused on in 26 and beyond. And with that last slide, I believe I'm sorry, going through the budget here. Just want to highlight, we take a 5-year strategic plan on the roads while doing that in a tighter capital environment. So the things that you see here are, especially the Shady Line project is what we're focusing on this year, and the Elmer lot. Sometimes you see a small value and a larger value. That is like the design portion of the project, and then the construction we anticipate the following year. And through a comprehensive asset management strategy, we try to identify the next roads or streets that need paving or reconstruction or investment by the borough. And this is an ongoing process, so it can change, but this is a good synopsis of the road plan for the borough as it lies today. Next slide.
Jim, a quick comment on that.
Yep.
As far as the borough roads, periodically we contract with a third-party service which drives the streets of Madison and evaluates the roads with an automated service to rate the roads as far as their condition. It's not subjective. This is a process of an automated system, and the roads get ranked as far as their condition. And we will take a look at those rankings, and with the mayor and council's blessing and involvement, we will choose roads which have are in the greatest need and may serve the greatest number of drivers and residents, and try to do it judiciously and still make the best use of the available funding, whether it's local funding or if it might qualify for a grant application.
The last touch on roads, we did get contacted by Morris County. They are paving Central Ave, Ridgedale Ave this year. So we're going to get about a grade from Main Street all the way to Florham Park, a brand new road surface there. Next slide, please. Milling and overlay, so smaller scopes. The highlighted ones that are shown are active, either getting done this year or designed and then construction through a grant for next year. And we also are anticipating using leftover funds from the very successful grant projects that were bid and our capital to evaluate more milling and overlay throughout the borough this year. One of note is Oak Court, and there's several other candidates that if we can spend or encumber extra available capital, we'll do everything in our power this summer to make that happen. And again, it's a comprehensive process, choosing which streets need it the most. In addition to, go back one slide. In addition to sign, curb, sidewalk, all the striping and annual maintenance that helps delay or improve our assets, so we don't have to have these major reconstructions or milling over projects. We can extend them on our roads throughout the borough. And we have a meeting coming up with PSE&G. They've done a great job the last several years paving many roads for Madison. So we're syncing up on their remaining work and what their capital plans look like. And that meeting is going to happen this coming week. Next slide, please. Parks and Rec, we work and support Zach Ellis and the team. We budget field improvements that can be various on an annual basis. The major capital expenditure we're tracking is for Rosedale, but minor things like improving the lights and making the environments better for players and safer for residents, parking and walking to facilities, things of that nature. Engineering works heavily with this department and the elected officials on these initiatives. Next slide, please. Thank you.
All right, Jim and Dennis, great tag team there. A lot of things going on, obviously, so thank you for all the work on that. Couple of quick things. One, clarification for those that maybe the county road you mentioned. The only part of Ridgedale that's county road is from Central to the Florham Park border. So that's so for those on Ridgedale, don't expect the county to be doing south of Central Avenue. The other thing which we saw on the project list, which is an interesting one, is Old Greenhouse Lane, which cul-de-sac, but a road surface that has never been really kept up, considering its low traffic. And so I assume that includes engineering to figure out what is going on in that area that causes that road surface to deteriorate so quickly. So thank you for all that. It's a lot of projects. Deb.
First of all, this all looks great. Dennis, I'm glad we finally have closed the book on Dodge Field as far as the grants are concerned. But the question I have, I didn't see it kind of anywhere. Greenwood, Fairview, Rosedale, that whole intersection, that's a nightmare because people don't do 25 miles an hour on any of those roads like they're supposed to, and is high accident. Is there any thought to looking at something there?
Yes, Councilwoman, you talked Fairview, is Morris Place?
No. Over Rosedale. Oh, so
Oh, yes.
Fairview, not Fairwood. So the Rosedale,
Right.
Fairview, Greenwood.
Greenwood.
Yes, we had a consultant take a look at that with some suggestions. That's the one by the Route 24 in that intersection.
Yeah, Cole Park.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric. That would have been an easier way to describe it.
Yeah, they had a couple of easily implemented suggestions, which we're going to be working with the police department and have them done. I'm not sure if there's much geometric improvement that can be done with the New Jersey highway proximity there. But yes, we are looking very closely at that to improve the safety at that intersection.
What about, and Eric, I think you looked into this several years ago. Is it too tight for a roundabout or something similar to that would help re-engineer it? And maybe
So said our previous borough engineer. Yes. It would require taking land from the park as well as the residents at the corner of at the house at the corner there. So, and then on the other side, you're up against 24 and the embankments.
The state highway. Yeah.
Other than all of those limitations, it's an ideal place for a roundabout.
All right. Well, fingers crossed that people slow down. Those were all my questions.
Any other questions or comments? Tom?
So thank you so much, James. Dennis was wearing two hats for a while, so you're a welcome addition to the team, James.
Thanks,
It's going to
Tom.
give everybody a little more time to be very focused on the great projects you guys undertake. And I'm just going to throw this out there, since on your overlay, that's the first time I had seen mention of any renovations or upgrades to the Elmer lot. I had mentioned to the mayor and previous council people that might be a good spot to look at a multi-level parking deck. We do have a congestion problem in town from time to time. We could use some more parking. I don't think we're going to have less people living in the borough. Jim Burnett thinks we're going to have cars driving us downtown, dropping us off, and then going back somewhere, or maybe we'll have the Jetsons option someday to move us around the borough. But until that happens, we're lucky that there's a lot of residents and out-of-town people using the town for whatever. And I think we have at least an opportunity now, if we're going to spend some money there, $1 million, and maybe we should spend a little more. It could be a lot more to build the deck. At least something to think about. And maybe you guys have some brainstorm ideas, pros and cons. I'm just throwing it out there as just something to think about.
Yeah, we did a quick analysis.
We did.
The issues is the people feel that parking lot's a lot bigger than it is because of the private properties that surround it. So when you look at what the borough actually owns, it is greatly reduced. So when you have a relatively small footprint and then have to do ramps and things like that, it would be a challenge, and it would be a exponential increase as you go from a reconstruction to a I guess the rule of thumb used to be 30,000 a parking stall for a parking structure. It's probably 30 to 50 at this point. So,
Sure, but
you
it's
know,
an investment. And anyway, something's better than nothing, but at least Bob, I'm happy that you're thinking about it. And maybe Dennis and Jim and anybody else on the committees would have some ideas of other options if that's not a good option. But I don't want to just keep kicking the can down the road, because the 30 to 50 could be 50 to 70 someday, and then we'll be in a bind because we're seeing more development downtown, which is positive. I think it's positive. More retail establishments to visit. We are the coffee mecca of Morris County now for coffee houses, in a good way. Hopefully, they all do very well. The other thing, I don't know when you're going to have this presentation on the Waverly redevelopment project. Before, Vogel had participated with you, Mayor Bob, and maybe Lisa Ellis was involved too. So I don't know if Mr. Savage is going to be involved when you start talking to the stakeholders, or who you're planning on including there.
Yeah, so
But
it's the
that's how I want to-
invite went out to property and business owners. There'll be a presentation by the firm we hired, Arterial, and then gathering the feedback from the stakeholders, and the format will change a little bit when we go to the broad town meeting style, because that will be shoppers and those that live in Madison and maybe walk there, as opposed to those that have a business there.
Good. Thanks, Bob. Thanks again, guys. That was a great guy. You got a lot of work on your plate. Thank you.
And
Thanks,
John?
Councilman Harold Budis.
Thanks, Mayor. So Jim and Dennis, thank you very much for a very thorough presentation. I think it's very helpful to understand just how much is going on. Just one thing jumps off the page, just because it's coming right around the corner. You mentioned the grandstand for Little League Baseball. I just wanted to get a sense of how's that looking in terms of timing. I understand the weather, right? What happened today with the snow certainly doesn't help, I'm sure. But if you could just give a little bit of an idea of sort of where that is, and how we'll be ready for the season, appreciate it.
Yeah. So we worked alongside Recreation Committee and Zach. So initially, our former capital projects manager Ryan was helping, and then our building department also is a great resource. I believe we helped consult or review or assist in the footings, so that had to go in. We wanted to see some progress, but then the winter came, and it's been a rough winter. So there hasn't been, to my knowledge, any further construction. So as the snow is going to melt, I'm anticipating into March. I personally have to synchronize up with the contractor. It was a little bit of a rec support donation, I believe. The contractor was supporting the department pro bono, or the field and the project. So coordinating like the borough owned field and grandstand from the three players plus that contractor, we have to get that done before baseball season. So I feel good that it seems like as we ended 2025, that was the plan. But we do need to come out of this tough winter and circle the wagons to push that one forward.
Appreciate it, because I'm sure with opening day coming pretty soon, I'm sure we're going to get some questions around, what's going on down there. So appreciate the color. Thanks, Jim.
Sorry, I don't have a more in-depth update for you.
It was good.
But
no,
we'll,
you gave the answer you have. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Thank you very much. So a lot of information has been shared with everyone tonight. So we will now move from budget hearing to ordinances for hearing. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Yes, the ordinances scheduled for hearing were introduced by title and passed on their first reading at a regular meeting of the council held on February the 9th, 2026. They were posted and filed according to law, and copies were made available to the general public requesting same.
I call up ordinances for second reading and ask the clerk to read said ordinance by title. Ordinance 7-2025.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $20,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund as matching funds for the improvements to Rosedale Soccer Field.
I open the hearing for ordinance 7. Anyone in the public wishing to comment, please click the raise hand and we will promote you. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 7/2025.
Second.
And this is coupled with 180,000 from open space for a total of a $200,000 project, which was already mentioned in the presentation from engineering. Any other comments? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harlan-Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Honahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
I declare ordinance 7-2026 adopted and finally passed and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 8-2025.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison amending Chapter 137 of the Borough Code entitled Recreation, establishing the municipal pool membership fees.
I open the hearing on ordinance 8. Anyone in the public wishing to comment, please use the raise hand option. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 8-2025.
Should it be 2026?
Yep, it's 2026. Sorry. I'm literally reading what's in front of me.
I'll make that amendment.
Yeah.
I'll second.
I probably said the same thing when I pulled it up. Council discussion.
Just a note, Mayor, if you don't mind.
Yep.
A resident had asked me about the fees, and I think it's important to note that if you sort of look at the escalation as you add people, you get a larger discount. So an individual, and this is actually not too much unlike health insurance, right? An individual pays more. When you add a spouse, you pay a little more, but not double. If you add a family, you pay a little more, but not triple. And at some point, a family plan for health insurance is, it doesn't matter if you have 3 people on your family or you have 100 people in your family, the fee's the fee. So this kind of follows that same structure where the baseline for an individual is kind of higher per person than the 2 plan, and then the family plan, so on and so forth, with some exceptions for like seniors and whatnot. But that escalation is very common in both pool fees and other things we see in our lives around health insurance and other things. So that'd be worth mentioning.
Thank you for clarifying. And also a reminder that we have never done this before, because up until this year, the Madison Community Pool was an independent operation where the membership rates were set by the corporation. So this is new for us by setting these. This does pretty much show the trend that was there recently, because the goal is to keep this a self-sustaining operation. So that also guides the rates. And I, in some discussions with the committee, have shared my experience from my few years with the YMCA and membership rates. Any further discussion? John?
Mayor, I would just also mention there have been many meetings now. Every Tuesday, the committee's meeting, and there's been a lot of discussion about the fees. I mean, a very thoughtful discussion with stakeholders on the committee representing multiple membership types. And I think there's a lot of pain and consternation and let's call it healthy debate. And I think we landed in a very good spot around what the fees are. They make a lot of sense when you hear the different perspectives. And I would just say that these are solid for 2026. And the other thing I would say is we've said from the get-go, this is a bit of an experiment. We've never done this before, and we're doing our level best to get it right.
Thank you. Well said. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harlan-Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Honahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
I declare ordinance 8-2026 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. We are now on to our second of two invitations for public comment. This is when you may comment on any topic. Rules are try to keep your comments to 3 minutes, but we do give you a 1 minute grace period, and then we'll ask you to stop at 4 minutes. When if you want to comment, you use the raise hand feature. When you're promoted, please state your name and address, and do it slowly because we don't have it doesn't help us for you to write it on a piece of paper at your home right now. So we got to make sure we capture it, and then we'll start your time. Anyone wishing to comment, please raise their hand. Colette?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Colette Kreskis. I live at 7 Albright Circle, and I want to thank the mayor and council for working towards a public health ordinance to regulate the use of two-stroke gas leaf blowers, and for equipping our DPW with safer and quieter battery-powered commercial equipment. I urge the council to pass an ordinance soon, please, that begins with a summer and winter moratorium, then transitions to a year-round restriction on gas leaf blowers with a set period of time, no more than 2 years. As a retired school nurse, I want to emphasize that the air pollution, noise, and vibrations generated by gas-powered leaf blowers pose multiple hazards to human health. I will focus on the air pollution hazards in the interest of time. Gas leaf blower engines are highly inefficient and release harmful toxins into the air we all breathe. Those toxins include carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, benzene, nitrogen oxides, hydrocarbons, and particulate matter. These pollutants negatively impact the overall respiratory health, increase asthma risk and severity, and are associated with numerous health outcomes, including cancer, heart disease, and dementia. Most at risk are people who operate gas leaf blowers, especially workers who use them regularly and for extended periods of time, and older adults, people with pre-existing medical conditions, and pregnant women. Excuse me. And importantly, they impact children who are highly susceptible to these hazards because they breathe more air per pound of body weight per day than adults do. Thus, they inhale more of the pollutants that are thrown into the air by this equipment. Children's vulnerability is further magnified because their lungs, ears, eyes, and other organ systems are still developing, making them inherently more sensitive to environmental hazards than adults. Excuse me. Lastly, the communities of Maplewood and Montclair have been free of gas leaf blowers since 2023, and it is working. Our community deserves the same health protection. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colette. And now, Lucy, since your full name is not written there, please make sure you start right off with your full name and address as you come on.
You may have unmuted the wrong person, Your Honor.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Oh, that's my iPad's name is Lucy.
Oh, this is Brian Mortensen. I'm sorry, the iPad's name is Lucy. I'm Brian Mortensen from 18 Borough Avenue in Madison. My apologies. I just wanted to point out that these leaf blowers are oil burning leaf blowers. They're incorrectly termed as gas. They use an oil mix, and when they pollute, they spew out oil residue onto the people who are operating them, and the people who are operating them have to breathe in the oil fumes. The term gas-powered leaf blower is very misleading because they take an oil mix. You have to dilute the gas and the oil together. So it's not just the regular gasoline fumes it's spitting out, it's oil. So it's much worse for you than just a gas leaf blower. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brian. And again, that's Brian Mortensen on Myrtle Avenue, in case Liz, you missed that. Anyone else wishing to comment, please raise your hand. Nope. Okay. Bridget Daly. The hand. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Yep. There you go. Bridget, go ahead.
Bridget Daly, 28 Keep Street. I just want to echo the comments about the gas leaf blower ordinance being requested and encouraged. I just want to make a couple points. One of which is that this ordinance is just focused on one tool, which is the one that poses the greatest public health danger. And when it comes to gas leaf blowers, what happens in your yard does not stay in your yard. That pollution affects us all. We can be proud that the borough has taken the lead on this by recently equipping our DPW workers with electric blowers, batteries, and charging equipment, including portable power banks. Because limiting and then ultimately restricting the use of gas leaf blowers means landscaping workers will be safer during their workday, regardless of employer. The towns of Maplewood and Montclair have been gas leaf blower free since 2023, and they are proud of the fact that, like I said, their landscaping workers are safer during their workday, regardless of who they work for. Everyone who lives or works in Madison deserves the same public health protection. And, you know, one of the arguments that is made against restricting the use of gas leaf blowers is based on short-term costs that would be incurred in switching. But I just have to say, it's not acceptable to keep exposing the workers and community members to these proven health and safety risks on the premise that it's cheaper to keep using gas leaf blowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Please raise your hand. Colette, I cannot pull you up a second time, so. Anyone else wishing to be heard, please raise your hand. All right, seeing none, I close this part of the meeting. I did have a meeting a couple of weeks ago with Council Member Tom Howard POTUS and Melissa Honahan as Chair and Vice Chair related to Public Works Engineering and Environmental Commission. We talk about the process of moving this forward. We will be reaching out to a couple of professional landscapers that do quite a bit of business in town, including one that is 100% electric, and just to help guide us in this process. And obviously, we are not starting from scratch. That is the examples that were already been shared from Montclair, Maplewood, and some other towns we can use for examples. So we are working on this, and we'll be moving forward in the coming weeks. So appreciate the comments. We now move on to introductory ordinances. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance is scheduled for first.
Tom, did you want to add anything? You're muted.
I just wanted to comment on what Bridget just said about the DPW, that they do have all their equipment there. They made a nice investment. The Environmental Commission helped them get a grant to pay for this equipment. It cost approximately $20,000. They have, I think, 5 blowers and batteries that should last over the course of the day for their staff, and they're going to start trialing the equipment, and we're going to have a real live assessment based on their professional, perspective, since they work as hard as any of the landscapers in town doing that for the borough. So we are moving in that direction, with our climate policies to at least make the borough work with greener practices. So we're moving in that direction, and the MAC has been a big proponent of it too. And I understand all the health concerns. There's just a lot of things that we have to weigh. And like Mayor Bob said, we're going to be doing that soon.
Thank you for adding that. All right, now we will move on to introduction ordinance. Will the clerk please read this statement?
Ordinance is scheduled for first reading, have a hearing date set for March the 9th, 2026. All will be published in the Madison Eagle, posted on the bulletin board, and made available to members of the public requesting copies.
I call up ordinances for first reading. I ask the Borough Clerk to read said ordinance by title. Just a reminder that Ordinance 9-2026, which was related to redevelopment plan for 3 Giralda, has been pulled, and that number will be retired. We anticipate that we'll be coming back at the next meeting on March 9th with a new ordinance, a new number. Ordinance 10-2026.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison to amend Chapter 195-46 Land Development, Article 8 Affordable Housing Development Fees.
Mayor, I move ordinance 10-2026.
Second.
Comments?
This is an ordinance that is one of a couple tonight that are put forward to comply with our affordable housing obligations. So this one, Ordinance 11 and Ordinance 12, are all things that we have to do to comply with our settlement and the deadlines that are coming up in the middle of March. So this just updates our fees to update them for the round 4 requirements.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harold Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Honahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 11-2026.
An ordinance amending the land use of the Borough of Madison to address the requirements of the Fair Housing Act regarding compliance with the borough's affordable housing obligation by establishing an affordable housing overlay zone designed by the 4th round AOH district and modifying the zoning map.
Mayor, I move ordinance 11-2026.
Second.
Council discussion?
Similarly, Mayor, this is one for the 4th round compliance. This establishes or adjusts overlays and establishes new overlays on Bruns, Shunpike, and Kings Road. Like our 3rd round overlay zones, these merely provide the opportunity for development. They do not say there will be development at these sites. They provide additional opportunity for affordable housing. And these densities in these overlay zones are very similar to the ones we established in our round 3 prior overlay zones that primarily followed the Main Street corridor on the east end of town.
Thank you. Any other further discussion? Pretty outlined it very well. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harold Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Honahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
and Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 12-2026.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison to amend the Borough Code, that should be code, Chapter 195-47, Article 9.
Mayor, I move ordinance 12-2026.
Second.
Council discussion. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harold Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Honahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 13-2026.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $200,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund to purchase security cameras, card access, and other items for the community pool and Rosedale ball fields.
Mayor, I move ordinance 13-2026.
Second.
Council discussion. And this is consistent with most of our recreation facilities where we've increased the security on these various facilities. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harlan-Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Hanahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
And we move on to consent agenda resolutions. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mayor, I move consent agenda resolutions R79- through R95, 2026.
Second.
Any council discussion or any that need to be pulled? Okay, roll call vote, please. Tom?
One question. Sorry.
That's all right.
And I wanted to ask it earlier too, that which is, the fantastic accomplishment we have to get that $1 million to pay down part of the debt obligation we have. And I don't need this answer now, but if Jim or Ray has it, when we make that payment to reduce our debt, how much does it save us? Like $50,000 a year or $200,000 a year? Because we're gonna relieve some of the debt, right, Jim? So that'll be
Yeah, let me follow up with you offline on that, Tom. I don't have that number right here.
It's an open space obligation, Jim. Is that who usually pays the debt, or we share it with different funds?
We'll talk more offline about it, Tom. It's Green Acres and it's yeah. So okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Thanks, you guys. Sorry about that.
Good question, but not an easy answer.
Yeah, I figured that. Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harlan-Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Hanahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
All right, there is no unfinished business. We'll move on to approval of vouchers. Will the clerk please read the voucher totals?
Mayor, I have to apologize. With the snowstorm, I didn't have my regular packet at home. I only have agenda. Maybe our esteemed CFO can read the totals, and then I'll do the roll call vote. That's the one item I don't have.
Glad I came to work.
Yes.
Okay, Liz, I don't know how you
Mayor
do this.
Council had received them. I just don't have them.
Yeah. So what do I read, Liz? Just the dollar.
Come on, Jim. No pressure. No pressure.
No, Liz does this.
He's in
It's
his
very hard.
office.
Current fund, $8,615,138.66. Electric operating fund, $291,373.28. Water operating fund, $65,388.14, and trusts, $106,877.16 for a total of $9,078,777.24.
Well done. Motion.
Thank you.
I'll move them, Mayor.
I'll second.
Any discussion? And it's already been outlined why it's such a big total. So thank you, Eric, for outlining that before. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range,
Yes.
Mr. Harlan-Pudis,
Yes.
Ms. Hanahan,
Yes.
Mr. Forte,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
All right, there is no new business. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you for all that joined us tonight, and best of luck in clearing out, and take care.
Thank you.